Good afternoon. My name's Lochac Scavenger from the Kingdom of Lochac. Mundanely Tracy Sawyer, and my cameraman is Sean Murphy, both of us from the Shire of Borders Cross. We are taking part in the Lochac, what's it called? Scavenger hunt. The Lochac Scavenger hunt, which is taking place over 13 days. We have 81 challenges. Now, the first challenge we're attempting today is challenge 13, which is light a fire using items found in period. Take a video of the process and post it online. Safety first. So that's the first thing we're going to do over at the fire pit. We will load it up ready with wood, etc., and then we will try lighting it. The second challenge is cook a period meal, challenge 34. Cook a period meal over the open fire. Take a photo of the cooking progress and post it with recipes. Now, in medieval times, we always talk about, oh, how difficult it is cooking European food because you can't use tomatoes, you can't use this, you can't use it because they're all from South America. The same is true if we go to South American cooking prior to the conquest. So I decided I would try doing an Inca feast, and the Incas were in power from the 13th through 15th centuries, so about 300 to 400 years, so 1200s through to the 1500s, when Pizarro, and I forget the other guy, Balboa, I think the guy's name might have been, came over to the west of South America and conquered the people of what is now Peru. So the Inca people were one of many tribes. They started moving down from the north till they got to around Cusco, and it was one of their leaders who built Machu Picchu. They conquered the people down to the coast, up into the Altiplano around Lake Titicaca, and quite a way south to what is now Chile, and they even ruled parts of Brazil and Argentina. So when you look at the food they had, or they didn't have onions, they didn't have rice, they didn't have wheat, barley, all of those things. So what they did have was pumpkins, beans, like lima beans, obviously, because they're from Lima, Peru. I've got some black beans here. They had quinoa, sweet potatoes. They had around 4,000 varieties of potatoes. I have some yams, some black ones, some creamy ones, some purple ones, some pink ones, more of the creamy ones. They had plantain. They had ground cherry, and I couldn't get any, so I got these little yellow tomatoes to take their place, because ground cherry is a little yellow round fruit with 3 beautiful pale green leaves around them. They had tomatoes of varying colours. They had chilies, avocados, and capsicum peppers are more from the Central America, up around Guatemala and the Mayan area, but I've sneaked them in because otherwise I don't have any sort of veggies at all much to go with the food I'm making. They had passion fruits, and I've got 2 sorts here, and they're going to be used to do some ceviche. For meats, they didn't have chickens, pigs, cattle or sheep, but they did have the camelids, llamas. They had alpacas and vicuña. There is nothing apparently in what I've read so far, and I've only been studying this for a week, but there's nothing about them using the dairy products of these animals. So there's no dairy in this menu at all. They had fish, lake fish from Titicaca up in the inland areas. They had sea fish. I've got a trout to show the inland fish. They had duck, and they may have had eggs from ducks, but they didn't farm them. And and turkey. So I've got purchased a bit of ready cooked turkey that I'm going to chop up, and it's going to be wrapped up with some of the quinoa and some of the other veggies and made into parcels with the outside of the husks of the sweet corn. So I'll go through all that later. The third challenge I'm going to look at today is challenge 58, which is to make a period version of tacos, and to post the recipe and a photo. So I have got some tortillas that I purchased. The word taco means folded in half, and so they used soft tacos. They didn't have the crispy ones at that stage, apparently. The soft tacos, it will have the food put in, it'll be folded in half to form that taco. So I'm doing the 3 challenges in the same afternoon. It's all part of the same thing. I'm also doing another challenge that is about creating a persona, and I'm trying to create an Inca persona. Very difficult because there's not much in female names. There's only the lady who was their Eve to their Adam, Viracocha and his wife. Most of the others didn't get mentioned. In the way of spices, they had paprika, salt. Paprika was their version of pepper sort of thing. And sea salt basically was it, and chili. They used chili all the time. I haven't got much chili here because I can't take the heat. For dessert, we're going to have some fruits. So there's, I forget what that one's called. There's custard apple, there's papaya, there's pineapple. They're all from the northern areas where the Incas moved down from. And I have got some cilantro. Now, cilantro is not from South America, but there is a plant called Bolivian cilantro because it tastes like cilantro. We can't get it in Australia, so I'm replacing the Bolivian cilantro with cilantro. Because it's already partly cooked. That's not like it. That bit there is not doing good. I'm not getting very big pieces, am I?
Oh, not really. But when they don't give you what you're asking for.
Yes. Tilapia was the type of fish I was supposed to get. Can we get that in Australia?
Oh, I've got no idea.
Well, it sounds Hawaiian to me.
Oh, it's definitely South American, but it's hugely invasive too.
Oh, right.
It's been introduced to a heap of places.
I'm making it a bit thicker. I'm not a chef. So there's a few pieces there which I will ceviche. It's not going to be a very huge feast for us, is it? It's only the two of us.
A sampling taste.
It's only for the 2 of us anyway. Getting thicker and thicker.
Well, you're getting down into the meat of it now.
Yeah. Gives that to the boy. Over the back here.
Yep.
That will keep him busy and quiet. That's starting to get the right look of it now, even if it is a little bit thick. I don't know if I've got the best sort of knife, being a serrated one either. So we now put a piece of duck onto the fire to cook. It's rendered on the fat side down to render down. And over here I'm dicing up a little bit of turkey. It's already cooked roasted turkey. And it's going to mix with some chili, some capsicums, some tomatoes, some of these mixed potatoes and things, and will go into these little parcels to be roasted as well. Thank you. So in here I've got turkey and mixed spices, a bit of avocado, some sweet potato, some purple potato, and I'm putting a little bit of the cilantro, which I will chop up before I put in, and that's going to go in more of the wrap up in the corn husks, and they will go in with the duck to cook. With the olive oil. Yummo, look at that beautiful golden duck. One of the corn parcels has peeled open, but never mind. Hello, back again. We've finished cooking. Didn't get everything done that we wanted to do. We're going to have the fruit platter and the pumpkin dessert tomorrow, because we haven't got time. It's getting too dark for me to see to cook, and I would make them tomorrow. What we've got for the feast is a stew of roots, which is different sorts of potatoes, sweet potatoes, black beans, and quinoa. We have quinoa on its own, it's just salted and peppered. We have some fried plantain. We have ingredients for putting in the tacos that we are having as one of the dishes, and this is the taco sauce to go with that. The other taco, I have another taco here. This dish is the ceviche, and it was a ceviche of a fish made with passion fruit, because limes and citrus fruit was not known until the Spaniards came. I'm going to just use the fork to cut this open. Oh no, I'm just going to peel it back, and that's the, oh, it's falling apart. This is the little vegetable parcel that we made, a turkey and vegetable parcel that was cooked on the fire. And we have a fish that is stuffed with quinoa and vegetables. We have the sweet corn, which has been baked, and there's a duck which has been roasted on the fire, and there are mushrooms in with one of the mushrooms were with the duck. Oh, they're in with the plantain. So that's the meal that I've made, and Sean Murphy and I are going to eat that now. That's better. Halfway through the meal, and nearly everything's been half eaten. Still got the sweet corn to go, but everything is tasting good. The plantain tasted like a slightly sweet potato. The purple potatoes were delicious. They had a bit of a nutty flavour, but like potato. The quinoa tastes good. The ceviche was amazing. I would have thought it would be revolting with passion fruit, but it's got a really nice, not sweet flavour, quite tart, and really quite delicious. A little bit spicy from the heat that's in the paprika and salt, and it's just delicious. The stuffed trout's delightful as well, and I can quite see how the indigenous peoples of Peru and Chile could live on this diet with very little meat, because it's very filling and very tasty and spicy and delicious. And one of these days I'm going to have to try making some chichen beer, which is corned beer, to wash it down with to see what that tastes like. But I'll definitely try Incan food cooking again. So this is the end of the feast. The last of the fire, down to coals. It's been going for 3.5 hours. It'll go for another hour or so, I think, before it burns out. But it'll be lovely. Slowly going to ashes. Good night.